So in this video, I want to share 3 micro practices with you. These are practices that I use regularly whenever I feel myself getting triggered or reactive or activated. You know what it's like. So, the moments where whatever it is that happens, there's a text that just doesn't land right, or there's an email that comes in. For me, it's often like YouTube comments that come in, and then I just get this like pit in my stomach. Oh, that didn't feel good at all, right? Or the sideways comment from someone, or you're doom scrolling, and then you see yet another horrific thing. In all of these moments, remember that we're not here to be perfect. We're not here to perform in a particular way. The main thing that we want to do is create a little bit of space between the stimulus and our response. And that is where these practices come in. So, practice number 1 is a somatic soothing practice, your hand on your heart. And this first one is really about coming home to your body, because reactivity often starts in our bodies before it ever hits our mind or our words. So place a hand on your heart. And if it feels okay, place the other hand on your belly. And then just take a slow breath in and hold and breathe out longer than you breathe it in. And you can say silently to yourself or out loud, something in me is activated and I'm here for it. Something in me is activated and I am here with it. This simple move signals safety to your nervous system. It doesn't fix the situation, but it does let your body know we are not in danger. We are uncomfortable and we can be with this. So that's your first practice, just presencing your body and soothing and self-touch. Okay, so the second practice is working with your mind and is shifting you out of the shame and blame game by translating judgments into the underlying feelings and needs, with a special focus today just on the needs. So we'll keep it simple since it's a micro practice. So when you find a judgment arising, she's so selfish, for example, you're going to look underneath. If she wasn't selfish, what need of mine would be met? Maybe a need for consideration would be met. And if my need for consideration were really well met, what other needs would get met? If I were being considered, maybe my needs to matter would be getting met. And if my needs for consideration and mattering were met, what other needs would get met? Well, maybe my needs to be seen and known and valued for who I am might get met. So what we're doing in the second micro practice is we are taking our judgments, the way that our mind gets very hijacked in ideas of rightness and wrongness and diagnosing people and ourselves, and we're looking underneath. If this were not the case, if she were not selfish, what needs of mine would get met? If they didn't speak to me so disrespectfully, what needs of mine would be getting met? If this judgment that I'm thinking of wasn't happening or the opposite were happening, what needs of mine would be getting met? And then what I'm going to do is really ground myself in what I care about, in what matters to me. That is a far more empowering and self-honoring way of working with the shitstorm that is going on around all of us than getting pulled into these spirals of rightness and wrongness and shame and blame. So second practice, translating those judgments into the underlying needs and getting very grounded in the goodness, the wisdom of the needs that you have, how beautiful these things are about you. And then the third practice is a truth and love compass. This is a spiritual centering practice. This last one is really about returning to the deeper you, the wiser, braver, more loving part of you who already actually has the wisdom and already knows the way back. So when you're feeling stuck, activated, triggered, you're going to pause and you're going to ask yourself, what is true and what is loving? What is true and what is loving? We're not going to focus on what will fix this, not how do I win, not who's right, but instead, what is honest and what is kind? This inner compass of truth and love, it doesn't always give you the easiest answer. I'm sorry to tell you that, but it will give you the most aligned one. So these are your 3 micro practices. Hand on heart, hand on belly, pause, be with yourself, acknowledge, name, pause, soothe. Number 2, translating judgments into needs. What am I longing for? What matters to me about this? Get underneath the judgments. And then finally, is it honest and is it kind? Stick with your truth and love compass. You can do any of these in 30 seconds or less, and over time, they will begin to rewire how you meet conflict, not seeing it as a threat, but rather as something to lean into, as an invitation to greater awareness and greater compassion. And remember, we don't do this perfectly. We're not performing this. Just stay curious. Come back to your breath. Come back to your needs. Come back to your heart.